We Say What They Can't Radio.
This show is sponsored by Mama Loves Cocktails. Check out her Instagram page. She has some really dope t-shirts, hoodies, and so much more. It's Mama Loves Cocktail on Instagram. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of What They Don't Tell You podcast, a podcast about love, marriage, and all the things that people never really prepare you for before you say I do. So now, this show was super important to me because first of all, the name of the show is Love Behind the Wall, right? And so it was important to me because it's a topic that nobody ever discussed. You know, when you think about, people that are incarcerated or whatever, you usually just hear the person that is incarcerated and their story and what they go through and stuff like that. But you never, ever really hear their families, their spouses, their mother, their children. You don't really hear what they go through because when somebody's sentenced, it's not just that person that's doing the time. It's the people who are holding them down, you know?
Yeah.
And so it was so important to me to bring light to it because, again, you guys are never heard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to, first of all, thank you all for coming out because it was not easy to get people to come out to talk about this subject, right? For fear of judgment or whatever issues they may have. Maybe the spouse doesn't want them to or whatever. So I'm really grateful that you guys came out to educate people on this matter. So without further ado, I'm going to go around the table and I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves and briefly just tell people, a little bit about your situation.
Okay, I'm Makini Marsden. I'm the wife of Ricardo Marsden, who is wrongfully convicted. And I'm also a blogger, a women's empowerment organizer, showcase manager, and I also host my own show prior to pregnancy. But basically right now what we are doing in his case is we are awaiting the deliberation of a motion that was put in on his behalf. And our situation is not unique. Like I tell people this all the time. Wrongful convictions happen to a lot of people. The problem is a lot of people don't get legal assistance or they don't get the support from the families or whatever it is. They lack in a lot of support from that. But my job, what I like to do is just bring awareness to mass incarceration for one, bring awareness to wrongful convictions for two, and also give a voice to families like us because I know that when I first started getting into the situation, there was a lot of stuff that I lacked and I wasn't going to receive that from the people around me. Family, friends, everybody turned on me because I was supporting him. And I didn't let that turn me away. I guess for some reason I'm used to that kind of treatment. I let it motivate me and encourage me to be more than what I was. And through that process, I met a lot of honorable young women and just family members all together that are supportive. And we've learned to build a family through the connections that we had. So that's what I like to do, just put it out there and get the right energy reciprocated back to us.
What's up, world? It's your boy Onifly on the check-in. I'm a credit specialist. I'm a personal trainer. I'm a skill developer for the youth out there in basketball. I'm here to talk about how I held my wife down while she was incarcerated. Me, myself, I've been going in and out of jail from I was 16, 15 years old. So I know what it's like needing somebody to be there by your side and still making you feel alive. Because, when you locked up and you away, they say out of sight, out of mind. And, we all just want to feel loved and have our people still make us feel like we're here with them. So I'm going to give y'all an insight on that, and it's not normal for a guy to hold the woman down.
Right.
So I'm going to give y'all a little insight on that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tanya. I'm a licensed nurse. I work with displaced women and children as well, trying to empower them to realize that they can start their life again, that, a lot of them get displaced due to domestic situations and feel, you know, when you've been in domestic situations and been mentally abused so long, you really believe that you cannot survive without your abuser. But we help them to realize that they can go forward. So I do that. And I do a lot of community work just with, basically my focus is with homeless women and children when I'm not doing nursing. The person that I held down is now deceased, but he lives on in my heart. But I can also speak from the opposite side of the wall because I've also did 5 years in prison as well. So I know what it's like to be on the inside with somebody. I know what it's like to be on the inside where people thought you just had forgotten all about you. And then also to speak about like why women have a higher return rate than the men, because society does not prepare for the women, but they always, it's just like that in the jails as well. The men have better privileges than the women do. And, you know, and then when they come out, they have these establishments where the men can go and try to start life over, and women re-enter society going back to the same abusive situations that they left before they were incarcerated. So
That's true.
Okay. All right. Yes. Well, thank you guys so much again. So I wanted to start out by pretty much asking, did you have, when you decided to say, you know what, I'm going to hold this person down. Like, I love them and it is what it is. Like, I'm going to do this. Did you have, you know, friends and families that were judgmental about the situation and tell you, like, don't do it or whatever?
Everybody. There wasn't a single person other than my mother that said, you're not crazy. Everybody turned their back on me. Everybody did everything that they could possibly do to defamate my character, defamate my husband's character. I've gone to churches, numerous of churches, did nothing. We actually met in the church, and I returned back to that same church to say, hey, this is what the problem is. This is my attorney. This is the judge. This is right on paper. Could we set something up? Could we get the community involved? Let's get the church involved. They all told me yes to my face. Then the next day, it was like we never had a conversation. So that was discouraging in itself, especially since most of the work that I did was right after my mother's passing. Because when you're dealing with somebody that's incarcerated, there's no point, there's no break. There's no, I'm going to take a moment to live my life or to deal with this issue, whatever it is. There was never a point for you to stop and breathe. You got to keep going. So when I realized that I was literally doing this by myself, it took years for me to say, not for nothing, but fuck everybody. Excuse my language, but really and truly, like, what are y'all doing? You're not doing nothing for me. You're not putting money in his commissary. You're not even supporting the fact that I'm going as hard as I am, and rightfully so. So it is what it is. But everybody I have in my corner right now are the women that I see every week who are up there with their packages. We made a family of ourselves. And that's who I pretty much affiliate myself with now. Like, there's nobody other than my mom's side of the family. And some of them are starting to come around. And that's because we have people in our family that have been incarcerated before. So we know what it's like. We know, you can't be so judgmental over people's lives. Things happen. But if you're going to have a family, your job as a family member is to be supportive despite what the rest of the world is doing.
Right.
I can't say that for the rest of them, but that's the honest to God truth.
Right. Wow.
People was cracking jokes or whatever, trying to like compare my situation to the Papoose and Remy situation, but I was really living it. You know what I mean? So, they'll just be like, yo, just be careful. Make sure she not married, because we was at the talking stage. Make sure she ain't got a man hidden somewhere or whatever. Because, when you get locked up, that's when you start finding out how many girls a man got or how many dudes a chick got. Yeah. You know what I mean? People just start popping up out of nowhere or whatever. You know what I mean? But people just trying to give me the heads up. And I'm like, yo, I just kept it real. I said, but I'm doing this by the power of choice, and it's out of love. Mm-hmm. So when she come home and she choose not to be with me or we not be together, it's all good. But, I'm doing it for out of love. So, I wasn't never looking in for nothing in return. You know what I'm saying? That's not what we do out here in this world. You know what I'm saying? If you care about somebody and you love them, you're going to be there for them. No matter what. In the world that we living in today, nobody knows that word sacrifice no more.
No.
Nobody knows that word loyalty. Everybody be in it for the temporary pleasure. Nobody be in it for the long run.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I just knew that she had light at the end of the tunnel. It's not like she got life. You know what I mean? Right. I knew she was going to be home someday. So, and I wanted to keep that friendship, that bond, because we was building on something. So I wanted to keep that.
That's honorable.
Yeah,
That's
awesome.
definitely
It
commendable.
really is.
Definitely.
Tanya, you have people,
Yeah, my son's father, God bless the dead. It was no question in my mind. Like, it was automatic. When they were sentencing him, they were sentencing me. That's just the way it was, It's never been difficult for me to do that ride or die thing because I lived that street life. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like I wasn't prepared for it. And in all honesty, I basically was a gangster in my own mind. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't a real thug, but it was guilty by association, but I was always intrigued. You know what I mean? He was just, like I said before, I knew who he was. I heard his name, and I was always intrigued by everything I heard about him because it was always like he was just notorious, and like we shared earlier, like how I said earlier, he was like Debo, and but when they sentenced him, I had already purposed in my heart that I was doing this with him, but because I had a lot of respect for him, not because of the life he lived. It was just something about him that I really had respect for him, and then also, people operated with him out of fear. It wasn't out of loyalty. It wasn't, they said, that's my man, that's my man. You called him your man because you were terrified. So it was best to be his friend than to be his enemy.
That's normal.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But like I shared with you earlier, I took this statement from my son-in-law like years ago, death before dishonor, and I really lived that day. You know what I'm saying? And so
Real talk.
when they said he had 2 to 4, that was it. I had 2 to 4. Right. That was it, and that was all. Wasn't nothing else to talk about. We got 2 to 4.
Right.
And it was difficult because I was pregnant, and I just shared with you, I had an addiction, but when he got locked up, all that stopped, you know what I'm saying? I found out I was pregnant, that deaded all of that, by God's grace, I got 21 years clean now, but, so when I found out I was pregnant, now I'm pregnant with his child. He's in jail, and I remember at one point they actually moved him from the county to Rikers Island for something he didn't even do. And I remember the tears and the emotion and everything I went through, like I need to see him because the visits was mandatory. All 3, I'm using them. And I didn't have to worry about meeting nobody in the visiting room. He already made it known who I am. There's nothing to talk about. Like the gentleman was saying, listen, if you with somebody, you with somebody. I'm not worried about what comes out the woodwork because everybody want to be affiliated with a legend. Everybody want to try to get brownie points and all that. Now, listen, you wasn't showing up before. I'm not even interested in you now.
Right.
And so basically that's what it was. I just made up my mind that we doing this together. 2 to 4. You got sentenced 2 to 4. We got sentenced 2 to 4. Right. That's it, and that's all.
Yeah. And you do time with them.
Yeah, you really do.
It's not them. It's not just them doing the time by themselves. You doing the time with them. It's like you being incarcerated with them as well. Like when you go inside of jail, you got to get pat down. You got to get searched. The same frisk that they get, we get.
Yep.
It ain't no privacy. CO is just walking around, ear hustling on your visit.
Yeah.
On your phone conversations
or you
too.
Can't touch them too much.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Or even a situation with women, like the heavy set women. I remember going in and almost not being able to visit because I had on underwire in the bra.
Yeah.
You can't make it through the scanner. You can't get through. I went one time and I had on green. I couldn't see him because the women wore green, so they wouldn't let you in.
Yeah.
You wore orange. Now I'm not a man. If you wore orange, you couldn't go in because the men wore orange.
Yeah.
And they literally talk to you and treat you like you an inmate.
Yeah.
And see, and I keep telling them, I'm not that far removed. I know how this system works. And if you keep talking to me like that, I'm going to be an inmate. You're not going to keep talking to me like that. And it gets difficult, because mentally, but like they said, we get locked down with them because let's say if it's not connected to your phone, you running home to make sure you catch that last phone call before they can't use phones anymore for the night. They lock it in at a certain time. If you don't catch that 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock phone call, You got to wait till the next day. You don't even know if they're going to get phone privileges. What officer going to be in there, have a little attitude, want to act like a chicken. Now they can't even get to the
Yep.
phones because they want to keep you locked in for X amount of hours just because they can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, it just sounds like it's so much, and it's. I'm gonna get to my questions because it's definitely disheartening to hear, because you don't really hear these stories, Now, one of the questions that I also had was, when you guys, what was the hardest adjustment that you had to make when you said, "All right, this is what I'm gonna do"? What was that like? What was the hardest adjustment?
Go in order.
No.
Oh, the hardest adjustment was accepting it. Knowing that she wasn't coming home today. Knowing that I couldn't pick her up to take her out to go get something to eat or, stuff that we was building on. You know what I mean? Like building this empire and opening up businesses and getting our life together and, make turning a negative into a positive. You know what I mean? Like going into that courtroom and knowing that that judge is looking at her like she crazy, like you ain't going home today. Yeah. You gonna take these 24 months and you gonna hold it down. You know what I mean? Walking out the courtroom, everybody crying. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn. I knew I had to be the man. Mm-hmm. Take her problems, made it my problems. Overcame it.
Yeah. I think for me, the hardest adjustment was not knowing what to expect on the other side of the phone. Because you just never, it's like Russian roulette, kind of. They call you on the phone. You don't necessarily know that they're going to be calling you on the phone. They could be calling you on the phone and somebody else is telling you, oh, yeah, he got jammed up or something. Oh, over something stupid, or you just never really know what to expect. You can get a terrible phone call and not really knowing how the outcome of their case. Are you closer to freedom or are we taking a couple steps back? You just never really know. I think that was the most disheartening part. I could deal with people turning their backs on me. It is what it is. But it's the unknown part. Like at the end of the day, me personally, I would like to know that you are good, your well-being, and he's calling me.
Yeah, listen, it's live.
Yo, that's a lot, right?
All right, pick up.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm talking this one.
There's the automated message thing that has to play
This
first.
you receive a collect call from.
Yeah.
Know that by heart.
Hello? Hey, babe. You're live.
He's like, what?
Hi.
I'm gonna put you on speaker. Hold on.
Ah, welcome. That's dope, though.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. How y'all doing?
What's up?
How are you? I'm so excited to talk. I'm glad that you called in, and I'm so, grateful and so excited to speak to your wife because she's really, educating us on some of the things that you guys have gone through and, what goes on, what really happens, for the spouse, when someone's incarcerated. So she's amazing.
I didn't catch the last thing you said.
No, it's okay. Oh, no. Right. No, I was just saying that we were so grateful to your wife for coming on the show and just really, educating us about what happens, on the other side and how she has to deal with it and, just pretty much telling you guys stories, which is really amazing.
I'm definitely blessed to have a wife like that.
That's what's up.
Just jump in the fire with me. Definitely not easy. It's no legal. How to be a good wife or how to have a healthy relationship under these circumstances. It's just figure it out every day, but there's a lot of things that we have to overcome, but it brings us closer. I think that's like the foundation of that relationship. When you overcome obstacles together,
Right, exactly. So we're gonna one of the other things. So you guys are having a baby. So congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you.
Congrats,
Hey,
congrats,
yeah,
congrats.
yeah.
Thank you.
What's up?
And so how? Sorry. So how is that for you guys? The fact that she's pregnant, but she's going through this. She's fighting this fight with you. How has that been for you guys?
Well,
Man,
honestly, we went through a hell and back to get to this point because it wasn't like a situation where I was in a good place. Where I was living was an unhealthy place for me to live. So I had to move in the midst of this pregnancy. I did that alone. I mean, I had people help me move, but did that transition by myself. I had to find another job because the one that I had fell through because of the move, but it wasn't an option for me to stay where I was. It was kind of like you got to jump, and I took the jump. I'm good now, but it was a huge transition, and for him to be there and for me to have to do all of that by myself, it was a huge stress on him too.
Right.
And then for me, I didn't want to stress him out also with, all the stuff I had to deal with. Babe.
yeah. It's having a baby is like it's a blessing and it brings about a lot of anxiety because you want your baby to be safe and very protective of your baby before he or she even gets here.
Right.
But being under these circumstances, and having to watch my wife go through a lot of these things alone is definitely frustrating. It's definitely frustrating. And like what I did, I'm a real optimist. Like I don't really just focus on the negative. I always try to find a good in every situation. So when it came to this pregnancy, I had to become aware of exactly what she was going through. So I went and got a couple books on, the whole
That was
pregnancy
helpful.
situation. And so when she going through certain things, I don't panic. I'm like, yo, babe, this is what the book said. Like, this is normal. And, like, as far as the moves or whatever, I got a couple of my friends out there. They come through and they help out. But I know my presence is definitely, I know it's avoided. And nobody can feel that. No friends, no family, nobody. So I'm just hoping that I'm there to welcome my little man into this world on that day. But,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're definitely praying for you guys.
Definitely.
For you guys, what is that like? Like as far as like when it comes to children and having children from previous relationships. Do you guys have children from previous relationships, or is this you guys' first kid?
First kid.
All right, and that's awesome. But what happens with like visitation, like taking them? When you have a baby, are you gonna if he, God forbid, if he isn't home, are you
Yeah.
going to do that for you guys? Like taking the children to see them, and what is that situation like?
Well, I used to tell my son that I got a new girl and she's away in school. I ain't, you know what I mean? I ain't want him to meet her that way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if we did have a baby at the time together, and of course I was gonna bring my daughter up there to see her. You know what I mean? This is what this whole jail system is designed to do. It's designed to break up families.
Yeah, right.
And if we not strong-minded enough to know that,
Yeah.
it's gonna happen. So many people lost their family, lost their kids to the hooscow, to jail. And we just gotta be strong, just gotta pray on it. And just fight through it. Make them visits. Try to play that person as close as possible. You know what I mean?
Right.
Some people start disconnecting themselves from their families. Like, you know what I mean? Your loved one family, like they stop answering the phone call. That's the fake people. But if you love that person, you know what I mean? You gonna press 5. You're gonna make sure you get that collect line.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you can talk to that person. You're gonna get on that Greyhound. You know what I'm saying? There's no excuse.
No.
There's no excuse. So
In your time.
I definitely, can I say something? Don't mind, right? All right. salute to the brother right there. I don't know you, but from what I gathered just now, it seems like you have a lady that's in prison and you holding her down. Is that right? Yeah, salute, bro. Like I'm saying, like you won a few, yeah.
Yeah, that's a fact. You know how it go, man. You got a real one, man. Because as soon as you get sentenced, you get that pound, you get that dime, you look back, shorty gone. You got a real one. She's still here. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
she here for the long haul.
Right.
Yeah,
we
you
all
hold me down.
That's so
know that.
I don't know. For me, it wasn't. I mean, I had a moment after the fact, but it was like the minute that they was like, turn around, put your hands behind your back. It was like, listen, so I'm already prepared, because like I said, he was already like a legend to me. Right. He was already a legend, so there was no question. And then the fact that, like I said, one thing I can't stand is fake people. I cannot stand fake people no matter what. And I knew for a fact that he had a whole lot of people around him simply because of what his reputation was. You understand what I'm saying? His reputation is who you say he is. His character is who I know he is. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, like, I was like, listen, I know him. He's a gentle giant. Yeah, he may be a threat to y'all because you play your hand. If you play yourself, then you get what your hand called for. Mm-hmm. So I was instantaneously, the minute they said, put your hands behind your back, because mind you, we was active at that time. You understand? I was in active addiction at that point. And when basically what they did by handcuffing him was save my life, because shortly thereafter I got arrested, and I found out that I was pregnant with my son Messiah.
Did you have Messiah was your first kid? You didn't have a kid?
No, Messiah is the last one. I got 5 other children.
So when it came to you having the other children, like, how was that? Did you bring them to see?
No. Well, they weren't his children, but and I really wasn't actively involved. Let's keep it real. Crack destroys families. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So my younger daughter was already with my sister, and I didn't start using until after my second child. And when I had him, we automatically listen. You got to go with within 6. By the time he was 6 months old, I got introduced to, because I was out there living with my son's father was a drug dealer / drug user. And I didn't even know anything about it. I mean, I am a young 19-year-old, people bringing diamond rings, and that's what was in the crack started. It was like an epidemic, and I'm like, why are they selling their jewelry, this, that, and the third? And I remember saying, what do they see in this? And my son's father and a friend of his, they were at the house using. I was like, what y'all? So I said, let me try this. And I tried it, and I was like, I don't know what y'all see in this. And I did it like 2 or 3 times, and I was like, what are y'all seeing it? And then by the 3rd time, I got it right. And then the church was out, But then I had my son. So then my son, he had to go with his grandmother. And then after that, you get the little smoke babies in between. Let's keep it real. You out there, whatever, because I got rid of my son's father. We both can't smoke, because I don't share. And so I had to get rid of him. You know what I mean? You got to go because you interfering. Let's be real, because now the drug dealers. Because mind you, now I'm thick. I'm a little cutie. I still looked decent. I still had majority of my teeth. I was I was cute. So the drug dealers, they push up on you. You know what I'm saying? Everybody they try to act like they don't, but when you presentable looking, they try to slide behind doors. So those kids were never a part of my running, because they were already away with family. 2 ended up in foster care. I wasn't pleased about that, but it happens. That's just the reality of it. But like I told them, look, I could have dragged you with me and subjected you to maybe some weirdo who might have wanted a child for some crack. So I'm glad that you weren't with me. You could be angry. You're entitled to your feelings. But trust me, my decisions kept you from, because I don't know what I could have been. Because, see, when you become addicted, you living like a savage in the pursuit of insanity. You don't have any more choices. You might think you could be hungry and go looking for a hit. You could have $5, and rather than buy a sandwich, you'll go buy a drug. But where my son's father was concerned, his last baby, when I did give birth, I didn't allow him to see him. I mean, I took him when he was a baby. But after he was coming released and stuff like that and got in trouble again, I was like, you can't be a part of his life. You can't be a part of his life, because what I will not do is give him inconsistency, because this is a child that God used to turn my entire life around. And that's how he got his name, Messiah. So when I found out I was pregnant with him, I stopped drinking, I stopped smoking, I stopped drugging, I stopped going to jail.
all bets was off. I promised God I would do my very best with him, and I did that. And you cannot interfere with that promise.
Right.
So if you're not ready to do what you need to do, then you cannot come over here.
Right. So tell me a little bit about so take me through the eyes of you guys when it comes to you going like on a visit. And like, how does that work? You know, because people don't know. You don't really see too much on TV, and whatever you see, you don't know if it's over dramatized or if it's not telling enough information. So take me through that, and then I want you to also go, because I want to definitely know what it is from the women's, the women's, I guess facility. Yeah. But yeah.
Well, I don't know how it's projected on TV. I don't watch too much TV, but it's probably not over dramatized. Like for me, if you don't get there by 7:00, okay, visiting time is at 7:30. That means you need to be there by at least 7:15 to get through the door before 9:00, where we're at right now. So there's women out there who get there at 6 in the morning. They will camp out before the door opens. There will be a line when you driving up. They got bags of food, clothes, everything that they got to walk up a whole flight of stairs. COs are not helping you to carry nothing. They don't care if you got a limp or a cane. They not helping you with nothing. You slip and fall, that's your problem. They'll sit there and watch you slip and fall while the rest of us try to help them get up or something like that. And you stand on the line. You're dealing with people who don't really care about your time. So they don't understand that when you're going on a visit, that it is your time as well. Mm-hmm. So you got COs that are mad because they got to be up early in the morning to process you to come see somebody that's incarcerated, and they got an attitude. So you got to deal with that attitude and hold it down, shut up, so you can at least get through the door and then release whatever tension you got built up because of what you just had to go through. You do have to, take off your bra at times if you got a wire on, it's a lot. It's a lot. And then the whole packaging line is completely separate from the actual in-processing line. So you could really stand there for 3 hours before you see somebody. And then by the time you get on the floor, you got to wait a whole nother hour, maybe 2 hours, depending on whether or not they want to mess around with your visiting time. It depends on the person. They don't treat everybody equally. So it's a lot. And then, you're standing there on the line with a bunch of women. Emotions are high. They're irritated. You don't know what they just had to go through throughout the week or what they had to go through to even get up there. Everybody's situation is different. So a lot of times they ready to fight. Let somebody look at them the wrong way or say something or breathe on them too hard. You have somebody that's ready to pop off. What you say? Like, it gets like that at times. Sometimes it's comical. It's funny. But, this is what we got to deal with all the time. Then you spending a whole lot of money on nasty food inside. And, the conditions is just not that great. I'm not complaining too much because where we're at right now is way better than where we were before. But it's still a struggle to deal with that. Like now that I'm pregnant and I used to go every week. Now we're kind of like, all right, let's slow it down a little bit. But even now, it's like completely different because we get trailers now. So it's like, we got to go back to somebody being in your face all the time and watching everything you do. That's not ideal at all. But I'd rather that than not to see him at all. So it's like you pick and choose what you want. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, I used to have to wait for the count to be cleared. Because it's the female jail, then you got the men's jail. So you would have to wait for both to be cleared before you even go in there. You know what I mean? So you'll be waiting down the hill for mad long. Just, you know what I'm saying? Yo, the count clear yet? Nah, they'll be saying no on purpose just so you could go home. Like, yo, fuck this, I'm out of here. I ain't
Yeah.
dealing with this today. Know what I'm saying? But, you know, that kind of clear. The women's visiting floor be empty.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
That's
keep
what
it
Pat
official.
said.
Yeah.
You walk up that hill, you see all the females lined up on the gate looking for action. Oh, who that man right there coming through? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because they man left them. You know what I'm saying? So I could count on my less than 5 fingers how many other dudes was on that visiting floor. You know what I'm saying? With they female. You on the visiting floor, it was like you'll see like a girl with her moms, the mom's bringing up the daughter, a mom's son coming to visit her. You ain't see nobody boyfriend and girlfriend up there. It was only like me and like 2 other people. But the other person was like, her man used to come like once a month. I was that dude that was always up there. I was saying to myself, man, my baby need that visit.
Right.
I gotta take her mind off of what's going on in there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta shower her with love. You know what I'm saying? I miss those hugs and kisses just like how she missed mine.
Right. Right.
I needed that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Wow.
CLs used to be looking at me or whatever, but I ain't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they be hating, but it's nothing you could do about it. You know what I'm saying? You know, the food was alright. It wasn't the best of it, but you know, she always used to like her chicken wings, hot wings. You know what I'm saying? She's like, oh, this is my cheat day. Don't worry, I'm about to hit the yard. I'm about to run some laps. Like, alright. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I used to just be there until the visits was over.
Right.
I wasn't leaving like cutting out early, cutting no corners. Like, it was only one time I probably slipped up, like, and got up there late. You know what I'm saying? Because I was hanging out. But she called me and she knew at a certain time that I wasn't there. Like, yo, where you at? I'm like, oh, baby, my fault. Like, and I'm speeding up there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
She's like, oh, you smell like alcohol. I'm like, yeah, I was partying last night. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, she was still happy for the visit. She wasn't even mad. You know what I mean? And I was just happy that I made her happy. All her homegirls used to be questioning her like, yo, what you doing? Why he always up here like that? Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, they always question me.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what I'm saying? You know, they got the haters and all that, but you know what I'm saying? She used to get her pictures.
Right.
Every time she went to the email, it was blue. You know what I'm saying? That's when you got a message on the email.
Right.
You know what I mean? They used to be like, oh, damn, this guy going hard for you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what we look for. You know what I'm saying? That's stuff that brightens up our day. Like, we go check the emails. We got a message from my loved one. I know what it feels like to wake up and don't have no blue on the email. You know what I'm saying? Or calling and nobody pressing 5. You know what I'm saying? I know what it feels like, but, you know, I just wanted to be real with her and do what was right.
Right. And do you think that you went hard because you were in that position before?
Yeah.
So you felt like, I know what it's like.
That played a part of it too, but it was like it was I'm gonna say it was like a 50-50 thing. It was, you know, one was, let me see what's the excuse. Is there really an excuse for not going to see that person or holding that person down?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you'll call and be like, yo, where you at? And they'll be like, oh, the baby shitting on the train on my way there. Making up a whole lie, like, you know what I'm saying? Or I ain't have a babysitter. There's no excuse. So that was a part of it. And another part of it was, I ain't gonna tell you I'm loyal to you. I'm gonna show you I'm loyal to you. I ain't just gonna tell you I love you. I'm gonna show you I love you. You know what I mean? I'm that guy that's always trying to be above average. You know what I mean? I don't want to be the typical. You know what I'm saying? So.
That's real love.
Yeah, and
Make you do
that
that.
is because people don't listen. People will be like, "You got what? No, I'm not. I'm out.
They be
I
out.
can't do this." You know. So it takes a real loyal person
Yeah.
because that's what it comes down to. It comes down to love and then loyalty. You know, that's what I think.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, it was at a time where I couldn't even see her. But just because I couldn't see her, I made sure her family saw her. Now I'll drive her moms up to the jail and wait outside. Like, there's no excuse for not making your loved one feel loved while they in jail or making them feel alive. You know what I mean? And, you know, to all my people that's locked up, man, get you a real one. That's what I can say. There's no excuse. You know what I'm saying? You got people out here that pick up the phone and call home, and then you got the chick saying, well, I didn't ask you to go sell that crack. I ain't go ask you to rob that store. But when it was all good, you was taking that money.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They'll turn around and say, well, I ain't asked you to do that for me. And be out.
Yeah.
Hacking it up.
Yeah.
Don't go far. Go to your homeboy at that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
The next
Or
big-
messing with the next stripper.
Just
You know
recently.
what I'm saying?
Whoever got
For
the next
temporary
great
pleasure.
package.
Like, it be temporary pleasure that people be getting caught up in, like, you know what I mean? It's not about who you are to the person in their face. It's about who you are to the person behind their
Behind
back.
their back.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
So,
Right.
you know.
So, another thing. Another question. How is it with like arguments? Because you're in a relationship with somebody, you can like it doesn't matter whether they're far away, whether they're in your face. An argument is always going to happen. And usually, if you arguing and they hear, you can figure it out. You know, you walk away, whatever. You come back, you figure it out. But how is an argument with somebody that's incarcerated? Because you can't say, "All right, baby, I'm sorry. You know, you want something to eat, or let me give you a kiss," and then it melted away. How is that? How do you deal with that?
We honestly, me and my husband are the same person. So we bump heads, but then at some point, somebody has to realize, and we're getting better now because we've been doing this for years. But now it's like, all right, we are on time. You know, we got to be mindful of our time. We got to be mindful of where we're at. And then once you start thinking about that, you come back, and we're speaking rationally now, right, babe? Or you got something else to say?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, my wife crazy, man. Don't let that cute face fool you. Nah, but she right, though. We've been doing this for a while, and it's trial and error. You know, like,
Yeah.
we just got to maintain that respect and just remember that.
Yeah, that's a
All right,
big thing, respect.
Just remember that we ain't going nowhere. And, you know, just to keep it on the stove, keep it on the table, and, you know, let's let them emotions die down and
Gotta
bring
weather
it
the
back.
storm. That sun gonna be shining again.
You know what? There's some things that I don't know. Like for me, like I said, when he got sentenced to a 2 to 4, I signed. You know, and in hindsight now, with him being dead, it bothers me that I had to leave him during his sentence. But I did. But it wasn't because of I needed to get with this one or that one. By now, my son is 2 years old. You don't go and catch a new charge in the middle of this. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, check this out. I signed up for a 2 to 4. You knew what it was. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a riot in the mess hall or something, and you dead in the heat of it. You got a reputation. You are huge. So now you looking at a new charge against officers and everything else, and something you may not even have nothing to do with. But one thing I'm not is a woman that puts a man before her child. I don't care how much we provide me. You don't come before my kids. Right. You know? And so at that point, I was like, listen, you are a career criminal. I ain't mad at you. I wasn't mad at you when we was on the streets, career criminaling together. Didn't bother me. But this little baby right here will not see the inside of a jail. Mm-hmm. He will not see it for you and nobody else. And so I had to, I was, and I guess a part of me basically because of how I grew up and, and just the life that I led and everything, I feel a lot of inadequacies and things. And so it was my job that I was going to give this child everything that I didn't have. And I believed that, I was going to, I'm going to get me this man and we going to have a white picket fence, the house, you, me, and baby make 3. And, and actually I had one of my exes that came home and who eventually I ended up marrying. We got together and everything like that. And eventually my son's father was going to kill. He really, it was crazy. But,
Excuse me 1 second. Yo, I got to go, all right? I'm going to hit you later on.
All right.
I love you.
Love you too.
Be safe. Yeah.
And I wanted, I really, although he was my childhood sweetheart and a part of me did love him, but I married him more so for security, for my child, And so that's what it was. But even afterwards, you know, when, like I said, when my son's father came home in 2014, I already knew that where my heart was at. I loved my ex-husband, but I kid you not, when I found out January 22nd, 2014, that my son's father was home, that was the last time I slept with my husband. Never slept with him again after that. But my son's father was back on the pavement, and that's who I was in love with, you know. And I was getting tired of my husband anyway. He didn't care. It wasn't like he was lacking. He was doing him anyway, so it wasn't like he wasn't going to get something. Just wasn't getting it from me. And I had no intention on getting it to him anyway, you know, because my son's father was home. But, you know, I remember like going up there to see him one time, because you was talking about the visits and stuff, and I remember going up there to see him one time and not being able to get in because it was the wrong date. I had got the odd and even number mixed up, and it was the wrong date. And somebody had drove me, and they were staying up in that part of the area. They were coming back to pick me up. So it wasn't even like I could just hop on a train and leave, because I had no way to communicate with this person that I can't stay here. And I sat in that lobby for 3 hours, rocking back and forth, crying, holding my newborn, you know.
I know how it feels to go up there on the wrong day.
Yo, and cried and cried. And there was one officer that finally had some compassion after 3.5 hours and let me see him. They brought him down on the visit, and we had like an 1.5 hour visit together. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, y'all had the authority to do that from the start. So, but God had somebody to come on, because, as a matter of fact, the shift had changed. That's how long I was there, like to the point it seemed like the shift had changed. And whether it did or not, I can't even recall. But because I know visiting, we had till 5 to visit. So a shift had to change because the shifts are over at 3. But yeah, and I remember sitting in there holding my newborn, rocking back and forth, tears, cried so much I thought I was dehydrated. And finally they let me see him. And yeah, so it's a lot. It's a lot. And you really have to be, you know, and even if a brother get mad at you, he will respect you more if you say, I'm not built for this. I can't do this.
Yeah.
Right.
It's easier to say it from the door, yo, I can't do this. Than to sit there and make somebody believe that you're going to ride this out with them. And then they get that Dear John or something like that.
That Dear John letter.
Yeah.
Sorry. By the time that you receive this, I'll be gone.
Yeah, that's a fact. That Dear John letter crazy.
But do you think that it's just because maybe some people just aren't built for it?
Nah,
They're not.
They not built for it. And they be out here getting caught up in the hype. You know what I'm saying? They looking at the next big Willie coming through, or they look at the next housewife that they think they could have, like, to replace that chick. Like, nah. You know what I'm saying? I ain't do it like that. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I have my own crib. You know what I'm saying? I did talk to people, but I let everybody know I got a lady. You know what I'm saying? And you know what time it is. And respect her.
Right.
So when she came out, she didn't have no issues. 'Cause everybody knew what it was.
Right. For me, I didn't have any problems because everybody knew who he was, and his friend, like he has a friend on Main Street that has a clothing store. So it wasn't. I mean, I couldn't go anywhere anyway because everybody's like if somebody was stopping trying to holler at me, they'd be like, yo, you know who wife that is? Like, I wasn't his wife at all. I mean, but, you know, they'd be like, yo, that's Z Black's wife. You know, and they'd be like, oh, man. All bets was off. They keep walking. Like, literally, I couldn't even get my son's haircut. He refused. He didn't want my son's haircut. And I remember, like, every time I went to the barbershop, he was like, nah, I'm not cutting his hair. Nah, I don't cut little baby's hair and all this stuff. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, yo, I can't even get him a haircut. He's like, yeah, because I shouldn't worry. Whoever cuts my son's hair, I'm going to kill him. I'm like... And I'm looking at these guys like, y'all are real punks. Like, this dude is in jail and y'all seriously not going to cut my baby hair? Like, he ain't that powerful, you know, but this is really the rep that he had. And I was like, you know, so to not talk to somebody wasn't even difficult because they weren't going to talk to me anyway once they found out who I was affiliated with. And it was ridiculous. It was frustrating. But, you know, a lot of people really, in their heart, they feel that they could do that because they don't really know what it entails. Until you have to deal with it. See, I had already been there. You know, being on the inside, I know what it takes. Listen, them 3 visits is mandatory. There's no excuses.
Facts.
All bets is, everything else needs to be put on hold because this is what's going to keep him from possibly doing X, Y, and Z to so and so, you know? And so you got
protecting their sanity.
Yeah, because even I remember a time when he was released in 2014, And he frustrated me so point. And I was like, you know what? That's it. I'm done with you. Blah 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 blah. And he tried to say something to me. I was like, nah, I'm done. I'm good. Bounce. And I remember him getting out my car and his body language, that way he was walking. I was like, yo, babe. I like pulled up. I'm like, yo, babe. What?
No, just
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So I was like, I know, I done laid back like me in the living room, right? But and I was like, yo, babe, let me talk to you. And he was like, nah, I'm done. Like, cause I said I was done. Like but his body language, I knew he was getting ready to go, and whoever was the person he saw first was about to catch it. And I was like, come on, get in the car. I need to talk to you. I need to talk to you because, and that's the same thing. Now, if he was willing to do that, and we on the streets where he has an opportunity to still come back, and I can talk to you and calm you down, then what happens if you in the penile and I really, get in my feelings and now I upset your mind? I don't have time to do that. I got to hold you down. I got to be your peace of mind because they're not going to give it to you. And if you don't support your man or your woman in there, they watch that. They watch to see who don't get commissary, who don't get mail, who don't get visits, because that's saying there's nobody out there for them and I could treat them any old kind of way and nobody's coming to their rescue.
Without a doubt.
Yep. It's the truth.
I think for the men, where they mess up at, they how can I say it? They look for females who they could take care of that they can't build with. You know what I'm saying? Like, just stay at home. I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna get all this money and I'm gonna shower you with love and gifts and everything. But when you go away, now she looking for that hit. Instead of, finding you a chick that's a hustler like you, that's willing to get up and grind and build.
right,
You know what I'm saying? Build that empire.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where a lot of dudes go wrong at, man. They look for chicks that just want to be taken care of, look for handouts, want to stay home all day, and just get pretty and go out and look good on the man hip. But nah, you got to find you a woman.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a difference between a woman and a little girl. You know what I mean? Just build.
Right. What do you think for you? Why do you think that men don't stick around? Because like you said, like we talked about, the men's jail is completely filled with women who want to hold them down. Why is it that men can't do the same thing? Like, yeah. Why do you think that they just don't?
Because, 80% of the time, a female is going to jail for something that the man did. Like, they was on a mission, or she was bringing that crack to another state, or she was going in that store to swipe that piece for him. You know what I'm saying? And she was really a pawn to him. And he filled her head up with lies, making her feel like she was his wife, and she was never the wife. The wife is really back home in another crib, plushed out. You know what I'm saying? So they end up losing out.
Wow.
I think too, though, it's men's nature. It's a different thing. We are born caretakers and born nurturers. So 90% of the time, a man's gonna always be held down. Whether even if I'm not on the visit, I'm making sure somebody gets up there and see about you. I mean, not in my case, but as women, it's just our nature of taking care of, mothering, nurturing. So you're coming through. You know what I'm saying? But also the problem I believe is that so many females, because you can't classify everybody as a woman, so many females make themselves so available that these men don't have to stay true to you, because listen, what you don't do, shorty right here willing to do, and I ain't got to do nothing but send. Whereas you got to take her to Tiffany's, shorty over here be real comfortable at Walmart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It ain't gonna take nothing for you to go up there and play king in her Section 8 house. You understand? Because all she looking for is a daddy to play house with, because daddy wasn't present in her life. So you looking for that man to fulfill that void in you, all that absentee stuff that you dealt with. You understand what I'm saying? You've already built up in your mind what you think is what love is, and it's not love. It's just a facade.
It's a facade.
It's a facade,
right.
and that's what they live. So these men, the bottom line is that these females / women, when they don't demand and put a demand, listen, he will never ever buy a cow if he continues to get milk for free.
Yeah.
Period.
And you just got to be authentic too. Like, it just got to be inside of you.
Right.
Basically.
That's just basically it. For real, sum it up. It just got to be in you. And everybody love get tested different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody love get tested different. Mine's got tested on some crazy shit, but I held it down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we still rocking and we still going strong. You know what I'm saying? We trying to get there. We about to get married soon and all that. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
Congratulations.
Damn. Look how she looking at him. She like,
But what this did teach me too was patience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
And this
imagine.
is this like, you know, like this taught me patience because I'm so used to like meeting a female and like getting her and having her in a way like just like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But I had to sit and wait. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like wait like 2 whole years. And I liked it. I love it. You know what I mean? Like it taught me a lot.
yeah.
We got to know each other. We still getting to know each other. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's going to be all right. We here. She free.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, this
That's what's
situation will teach you a lot of different things, good qualities if you allow it to.
Yeah.
You know, because we're not in a situation where we have social media or, you know, the cell phones are not in the way of you actually getting to know a person. You know, you don't have, nowadays you go on a date and you're dealing with somebody who's lying to you right
Yeah.
off the rip.
Yeah.
You deal with somebody that's in prison, it's nothing but truth. You have to deal with whatever it is that comes within that relationship and learn how to overcome those challenges. So, you know, we learned a lot and it seemed like everybody pretty much learned a lot if you allow it to. Because some people, you know, they're faced with challenges and they're like, you know what? I don't want to do this. I'm not built for this. And then they go run into somebody else, but then they see that same individual in a relationship with somebody else and good qualities of them have evolved. And now they're like, oh, well, I didn't know that you possessed that quality because you didn't stick around long enough to find out. You know?
You know what else too is that people get so caught up in the physical aspect of a relationship and they
Yeah.
don't take time. And I say that because I
Connect
remember when I was
mentally.
incarcerated, like
Yeah.
when I was incarcerated, I remember my friend Bunny, she introduced me to her brother one time over the phone. She was like, oh, my older brother would love you and this, that. You know, and I was like, talking to him on the phone. He had the dope voice, so it was easy to talk to him, right? But, you know, we kept talking, and as we were talking, you know, like he told me you could call anytime, you know, because I really need, like my family, they were, you know, my sister and them was, you know, sending 35 pounds maybe once every 5 months or something like that. You know, like people like, oh, I got a little couple extra dollars, let me send her a little something, something. It wasn't no, you know, I don't really rock with my family like that. And I remember like talking to him and I would call him and like we would talk every day. And I remember like after a couple of months, he was like, yo, I really think I'm in love with you. And I'm like, you know, I was thinking that same thing. And I was like, you know, I find that a mental attraction is better than a physical
It
attraction.
is,
attraction
yeah.
Any day,
every day.
because now I've spent all this time getting to know you via phone calls and via letters. And you know what I'm saying? Like this same man, like when it was time for me to be released, he bought my parole clothes. He bought, you know what I'm saying? When I'm saying when I came home, he took me to my first Narcotics Anonymous meeting that I had ever attended because I didn't know anything about them. And I remember a man coming up to me to welcome me in the meeting, to hug me. And I was so like jumped back because I had been in abusive relationships. So I didn't know what his reaction would be. And he was like, it's okay. We hug here, babe. You know, and so from that point, from jail right up until that meeting, he was like helping me to grow, helping me to like know that like, listen, this is okay. I don't know what them clowns did before, but this right here is safe. This is okay. You know, we didn't stay together. He lived up in wherever that was, Broadway, 125th and Broadway. I was scared. I'm from Nassau. I don't do this, you know. I don't do the boroughs. I was scared. I ain't gonna front, you know. But you know, and it's just that he was older, and I don't think I was ready because I was still like a young girl, and he was an older man, you know. But I, you know, to this day, I can still look in hindsight, and I learned a lot from him. And the one thing I did learn that the communication piece was mad important because it played a very effective part in him and I, you know, remaining friends for years.
That's
Right.
everything.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's exactly why these jails try so hard
To
interfere with the communication because they understand that if you have that communication built, then it's going to be harder for them to get away with doing things that they're
Yes.
not supposed to be doing.
Exactly. Right. because you have somebody on the outside
Yes.
that can advocate for you.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah,
exactly.
and they try to do anything to you. Like if they see that you don't got no family, nobody's coming to see you, or nobody calling up that jail, man, they're gonna try to do whatever with you. They're gonna try to keep you, put you really
Try.
under the
They
jail.
gonna
Under
do
the
it. I
jail.
literally watched a CEO, and I remember we were like going crazy on. We literally watched the CEO. This girl, he literally punched her, knocked her out. We like went ballistic, but we was all locked in. You know what I mean? But yo, I'm telling you the things that, and I mean, I'm looking at him like, you know, I wanted to do him something, but I wanted to go home too.
Right.
So, you know, but it's like, it's almost get to the point where that's why, and that's another reason why you try not to leave a man behind the wall. Because if you live it and you see what they do,
Yeah.
it's almost like, you know what, I want my freedom, but you know what? Like taking your head off is just a little more important than my freedom right now. I'd rather lay you out right now and I'll just take that extra year. And that's how you feel sometimes, because they really just violate. They just straight
Yeah.
violate. Like, let me calm down. Like, it got me back behind the wall. Like, I could see that, you know, and it's sad. Like, when you got people that don't know how to speak up for themselves, that, you know, or they not built for keep lock, so they let it happen so they don't get keep lock. Listen, I'm coming at you. We can fight. We can do whatever. Go ahead, solitary confinement ain't nothing. It's just a longer nap. You gotta let me out of here. Yo, for real. You gotta let me out of here eventually. You gotta let me out of here eventually. If nothing else, I got a conditional release date.
Right.
I'm coming up out of here. But you're not gonna do me any old kind of way. Whether you see
Yeah.
mail or visit or not, you're not gonna do me like that. You know? And that's what.
So now, with all of that you're going through, that you guys have been through, what would be your advice? Would you encourage, like, so if there's a girl or a guy, you know, maybe young, that's like, yeah, you know, my boyfriend or my girlfriend's about to be sensitive, like, would you encourage them to hold down the person, especially if they're young? Or would you tell them, you know what, I've been through this, I don't think that's the right thing, maybe you shouldn't? Or, you know, like, what would be your advice to somebody, to a younger you or somebody like you?
I'm gonna encourage them to hold that person down. Like, you know, and because you was actually with that person before that person got into that trouble. And you know what I mean? Don't let the jail system mess that up. Like, what was your plans with that person? Stick to that plan. Don't, you know what I mean? Everybody had their dark times. You gotta remember that that person got light at the end of the tunnel. It's not over. It's not over. This is just a obstacle that you gotta overcome. You know what I mean? Like, so just go forward. Do right by the person. Answer that phone call. You know what I mean? Reply to that email. Send them letters. Send them pictures. Let them know that you love them. Don't just tell them. Show them. And if that person come home and end up, you know what I mean, turning on you, you know what I mean? You let karma deal with that person.
Right.
Yeah.
The universe is always going to take care of you once you good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
It's true.
I think, though, for me, if it was a younger female, I think really, though, I would have to tell her. I mean, overall, yeah, everybody want to feel like they could say I'm that ride or die. But as a younger woman, you know, because I see so many younger women lose themselves to some of these brothers that don't deserve it.
Yeah.
And I would really have to say to her, listen, how was he treating you before he went? Never mind what he was saying to you. What was he doing before he went behind the wall? You understand what I'm saying? Because, you know, like he said, like he was saying, my lady and this, that, and the third, like, that's why I love these two right here. When a man has plans for you, when you are going to be a permanent part of a man's life,
Yep.
there are things that are being put in place to show you that, listen, we ain't there right now, but I'm showing you that in the near future, when I cross over, you crossing over with me.
Facts.
Now, this brother don't have no intentions for you. If you going up to the visiting room, you can't get on the dance floor because somebody else is already on the dance floor. But then you know what? Let her hold him down.
Right. Yeah.
You are too young to waste your life on buses to a penile system.
Yes.
Because 9 times out of 10, they got kids. And what you're doing is you're showing your daughter that all your worth is taking care of somebody who mistreats you. No, that ain't happening. If he wasn't good to you then, he ain't going to change. Oh, he getting ready to tell you everything Gucci when he get behind the wall.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But if he wasn't treating you good, if he wasn't loyal to you on the street, if you was fighting with chicks in the street because of him or even being confronted, I better not even be confronted. Don't even come up to me and tell me you know him without him first telling me that he knows you. You understand what I'm saying? So if he wasn't respecting you then, he's not respecting you when he comes home, and you don't need to waste your time.
That's a
Yeah,
fact.
you could always
Period.
do better.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I've had a lot of women ask me that question. Oh, my husband or my boyfriend got locked up or something like that. Should I hold him down or something? I was like, well, honestly, what I go through is not for everybody. If you know that you cannot deal with rejection, period, don't even put yourself in that position.
Right.
Keep it 100 on the table at all times. If you know you are not built for this, don't do it. Don't waste your time because you miss out on a lot. You miss out on a lot.
Right.
100%.
And that's fair. That's fair because there are a lot of young girls that go
Yeah.
through it, and it's for for men that don't really deserve it,
And
because
that, right, like
you
she said,
hear
with
all of
respect.
these things, from on the outside, you hear, oh my God, people are in jail. They have nothing but time to conjure shit up and to make you feel like you're the best person, but then you going through other people on your visits or all kind of other crap that they
And
And
that's why I respect her because we had talks and I'm like, yo, look, all them little joints you had, them little dudes you was talking to, like cut that short. I'm here now.
Them
You
little
ain't
dudes.
got to worry about nothing. I'm here. You good. Trust me. You feel me?
So little dude.
And she gave me that much respect and I honored her. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I just showed her. You know what I'm saying? I made her feel like she was home. There was not a day in there that I made her feel like she was locked up. I made her feel like she was home. Birthdays came around, got the family together, cut the cake. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Had her on the Skype,
Right.
all that. You know what I'm saying? Gifts, sending her pictures of gifts that she got. She gonna get them when she come home. Oh, why you went and bought me that? We could have did this with the money. You know what I mean? Like, you know how that go. But you know what I mean? That's just me. I'm just a lover. You know what I mean? I want you to feel like you home.
right.
Everything's gonna be all right.
Definitely.
That's a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah.
And love got to be at the bottom line is love got to be the foundation. That's
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
It's
it
got
has
to be
to.
love and loyalty. That's
Yeah,
it.
longevity. Like,
Yep.
Yeah,
Love,
you gotta
loyalty,
be in it for the long
longevity.
haul,
Yeah.
man. Like,
Yeah.
and you know what you built for. And see, and that's the case. Like, just to thine own self be true. It's okay to say, like, listen, I really, really love you, but I know I'm not built for this. Somewhere down the
Absolutely.
line, I'm gonna fall off. Because I'm not built for this. I love you. I pray, like, yo, when you get out, I hope you ain't mad at me, and we really could like reconnect. But I don't want to sit there and give you false hope. Now, can I
Yeah.
come through when I can come through? Most definitely.
Yeah.
But see, now you're not expecting anything. So, periodically when you hear from me, it'll brighten up your day. I didn't lie to you. I told you when I'm able,
Right.
I will. The worst thing you could do is lie to somebody
Yeah.
on their way in and while they're in there. Listen, keep it 100 from the door.
Yeah.
I can't do this. Like,
Yeah.
my son, father, he was livid with me. He was livid with me when I told him I was out. But I told him, I told you a 2 to 4. I
Right.
promised you a 2 to 4. You on your way out the door and you catch a bid,
yeah.
Right.
all bets is off.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I know we're pressed for time. I just have one more question. Sorry. Sorry. You're getting on me about my time. What? Oh, man, I have 2 questions. All right. Okay, sorry. So the first question is, did you have in your mind a set time? Like she was saying, listen, I'm only giving you 2 to 4. Like, did you have a set time? Like, yo, I'm only doing this amount. I'm not, or when they're in the process of before their sentence, not even after their sentence, before their sentence and you're going back and forth or whatever, do you have that in your mind? It's like, listen, they got like 5 years. I'm only doing 5 years. If they hit you with 10, 20, 50, life, I can't do that.
I'm gonna keep it 100. They could have gave her a dime. I was gonna be there. You feel me? I don't care what time they gave, but I was gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? Like from the door, it started from the courts to the lawyer offices. Man, I remember I ain't have no car at the time. I had to get on the train all the way from Far Rockaway to Manhattan to pay a lawyer just to make things go right. You know what I'm saying? But at the time, that didn't matter. It's what I wanted, and you know what I mean? What I wanted me and her to share have at the end of this. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, I don't care what that judge gave you. I'm here. Know what I mean? Don't worry about it. You good.
And make no mistakes, if they would have said to him in the beginning 10 years, it wouldn't have been a problem for me. The 10 years, see, they because that's what I was prepared for in the beginning.
Yeah.
But when I'm prepared for you up here, I'm talking to you daily, you telling me you good and you not doing this and you not doing that, and then you mess around and you catch extended
yeah.
time, or you do something that you could have avoided, you did that to yourself,
Yeah.
especially knowing, see, it's different if it was just me. You have a baby out here. So once you made a conscious decision that, to me, what you said was what you had to do with your rep, whatever the case may be, was more important than getting home to your family. I cannot raise my child to follow in your footsteps. Right. I will not subject my child to waiting on a father to come home from the penal system. I'll see you when I see you, bro.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, for your guy, if he respect you and he love you, you know what I mean, as much of a stand-up dude that he was, you know what I mean, he gonna try to walk that fine line so he can make his good time. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta look at the bigger picture while you in there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I ain't getting caught up in this, man. I know I got a family at home. My lady come to see me. You know what I'm saying? That's why I used to do everything I used to do for her. So, you know what I mean? She would keep sane. She wouldn't get in no trouble.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know, they had little chicks that used to be nitpicking with her, whatever. She'll call me. I'd be like, yo, man, curb that. Don't even throw that away. You know what I'm saying? I need you out here.
And that's why we salute you again. I'm telling you, because, and that's important. I salute you because I'm telling you, I done had a couple of heads up in my cell behind that. For real. Because you get your frustration, you get mad. Like, yo, I don't even have nobody. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't need to hear all this chitter chatter. You understand? All that old cackling and stuff. Shut up.
You got them
you
people.
know?
You like, she had a homegirl in there. And her homegirl's baby father ended up messing with the best friend.
Wow.
So, you know what I'm saying? So she used to be calling me and she used to be telling me the story. And I'm like, I don't really want to hear that because you good. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Just distance yourself from that girl because you don't need that energy right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you get up on this phone and you dial out my number, you know you're going to get an answer. Right. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to worry about hearing nothing crazy. You good.
Well, I know with me, with the whole timing situation, I came into this knowing that he had 25 to life. So at that moment, it wasn't of, oh, I got 5 years or whatever. Either I'm in it or I'm not.
Right.
So
and most
what
females,
am I going to do?
I commend you because most females hear that, man, they out.
I don't know.
They don't care about no trailer, none of that. They out.
That's a big one.
That's understandable, you know.
Oh, wow.
But this is somebody I've known since I was 13, before the streets knew him for what he was. So when the whole case happened originally, I was like, that's not true. Off the rip, I already knew that's not true at all. My mother knew it wasn't true, which is why she was at his trial. And she sat there with his mother. But, you know, when you were in the system, it's kind of hard to get out of it, whether or not you're wrong or right.
Yeah,
so
definitely
it's what you can prove. So, you know, every year for me, it was, this is a possibility that this could be the last year. That's all I kept thinking in my head, because that is what motivated me to keep doing it. And now, you know, 5 years deep, I'm like, you know, there was a lot of things that I had to learn prior to right now because I wasn't ready. There was a lot of stuff. I was still a kid trying to get myself together. So I had to grow up. He had to mature. I had to mature. I had to get some things in alignment. Now we're in alignment. So it's more of a possibility that this could be the year that he comes home. And, you know, now we have these attorneys and they're reassuring us, all right, we're fighting. We're still fighting. I'm like, I know. I'm not sweating it no more. You know, I can't cry about it no more. It is what it is.
Just pray on it.
That's all you could do. All you could do is pray about it. So it's like I'm leaving it entirely in God's hands.
That's what I did. I ain't gonna lie. I prayed on it. I said, God, can you carry this for me? Like, you know what I mean? Give me the strength.
Too heavy.
You know what I mean? To make these visits weekly and daily. You know what I'm saying? Like,
give you the strength, because Lord, you gonna need that strength.
I commend you. I didn't know it's like that. Wow.
Because you get depressed, you start missing, missing a person, and you know,
You do.
Especially when you seeing everybody else like the things you used to do, just the
that's
walking and
another thing
the walking
too.
and
That's
holding
real big.
hands.
That's
and
another thing.
the
Like,
simple
you know,
things.
you start seeing other people lovey-dovey. I never, not once, I knew my time was coming.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? You just gotta know your time is
It just
coming.
don't, but it don't make you miss it. Just,
Yeah.
it just, you know, it's still, you can still remain loyal. You can still
Yeah.
remain faithful, but it puts a longing inside of you. Like people
Yeah.
on the outside, you know, nobody wants to put themselves in the other person's position. I'd be like, you got to think about how, if you missing it, what you think they missing? You got access. You
Yeah.
just choose not
That's-
to.
yeah.
They
Yeah.
have no access. So,
Yeah.
you know, if you longing, and you got to remember that in their mind, they probably like, yo, I know he probably. And it don't even be like that. But, you know, your mind will play tricks on you. Miss one phone call. Oh, what's
Yeah.
going on? Unless they really, really know you. They
Yeah.
know you to be faithful. They know you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like when my son parties to call, if I miss, where was you at? Choir rehearsal? Where was you at? Church? Where was you at? You know, like, oh, you work late? Something like that. He knew, you know, because he knows
Yeah.
me. But imagine, like, even with him being that secure, missing a couple of calls, and then when I finally get the call, but the minute when I accept and he hears,
Yeah.
hey, daddy, or hey, babe, he's good, you know, because there's no change, you know, because they know when you done switched over. Because now it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, what's up? Oh, no, I'm cooking right
Yeah.
now. No, I just
They'll
had
know.
a long day. Oh, no, I'm just tired. I just want to go to bed. You know, all of a sudden, where you hated to hear the operator say, one more minute. Now
Yeah.
you're like, I got to go before the operator even get on the phone. They know when a shift has come, you know, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So my last question. That was one. That was one question. Jeez. So what for is it it's okay. So for you, what is your anticipation? Like what do you think that your first day will be like when he comes home?
I
When he
think
comes
about
home,
that.
like what do you know?
Every day I think about that. Because I can either be at work or at home. So what is it? I don't know. I could pass out. I have no idea. I might cry hysterically, or there might be no tears at all because I've already cried all them years already, so there's nothing left. I don't know. I know I'm gonna be grateful. I mean, I have everything prepared. Like, I don't use his side of the closet. I keep my side of the closet, you know, because I want to know that when he comes home, he has that space, and you have to start preparing things mentally before it happens in the
Right.
physical. So everything that I do, like I have a little OCD, a little bit. So I have these routines and these patterns that I do in the house, but I make room for him wherever, wherever we at in the house. You know, the bathroom, the baby's room, there's a place for him to settle. So wherever it is, whether he pop up at my job, we ready.
I know that's right. I ain't mad. That's dope right there. Oh.
And then for you two, what was that first day like what was that first day
Man.
like?
I was like, yo, is this real? This about to happen? Like, that's all I kept saying was like, yo, I was up early in the morning. And then, you always got that one family member
Oh God.
that be hating, like,
Hater, right?
yeah,
Sit down,
like
get
trying to
your
be in her
life.
ear. I thought she was trying to curve me. So I'm like, yo, I had ran to my man crib real quick, and I was like, yo, I think she playing games with me right now, whatever. He's like, yo, why you saying that? I'm like, yo, her energy is kind of off. But when you first come home and, you know what I mean, she was
Right.
a little kind of overwhelmed or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's all on video when she first came home. We was all over each other and stuff. Like, her pops
that's
knew what
cute.
her pops looked at her and said, yo, nah, this dude is for you. Like, this dude is serious about you. And I looked at her father. I said, yo, listen here. She in good hands now. Don't have to worry about nothing.
That's what's up.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, so,
That's cool.
Well, I don't have those cute little Harlequin. That is because you got to remember, I'm married, right? I was married when he came home. And the funny thing is that I didn't know he was home. His best man. Like, I'm like, yo, Black is looking for you. And thank God, I found him the day I ran into him that I did. Well, I didn't run into him. I went to him.
Because they was like, yo, he said if he didn't find you by the day, he was coming to your house. I was like, oh, okay. But it was funny because he was down at the Department of Social Services because he had to do housing, because he came right back, it's hard to leave a lifestyle, and he didn't come back to like getting high or stuff like that, because you gotta remember, he was a dealer like first. And so he's sleeping up in the hotels, and they like, listen, you on parole, man, you can't stay at a hotel. So he had to go down to social services for housing. So I went to the house where he was staying, and his boy was like, listen, where he went after he left the hotel. So his man was like, listen, he down in social service. I said, really? So I went down to social service. They was closing. And I said, listen, I'm looking for a gentleman. I said, trust me, you'll be able to find him. He's the biggest thing in the building. I said he should be in the housing area. So they went and they got him, and he was like, I don't know who that is, because I'm like by the door, and he couldn't see too. So I said, well, if you don't know who it is, then I might as well bounce. And when he said that, he's like, oh, and then from that point on, it was just like, hey, what's up? Like, so glad to see you. And it was just like a breath of fresh air for me, because I remember, like, there was times I used to lay in my bed, my marriage bed, like with my back turned, with tears in my eyes, saying Black would have never treated me like this. Like, whereas this man had, we had money because we had a business and everything else. I said, listen, I'd rather live in a cardboard box with a faithful man than in a mansion with a cheater. And I was, so I had the 2 cars and the access to the bank accounts, and I could, go eat whenever I wanted to and do whatever I wanted to do. But I was only beautiful it was just pretty on the outside. But I was living a nightmare. Not that he wasn't physically abusive, because he knows, listen, I'll cut you too thin to fry. You ain't gonna do that to me. However, but emotionally, I was torn down. And I would always say, Black would have never treated me like this. He would have never treated me like this. And so when I found out that he was home, the minute that I hugged him and I was like, oh my God, you home. Like, all bets was off for my husband. Like, listen, you could go ahead and file for divorce, boo. I'm done. Like, my husband is really home, and that's what it was. And that's what I stuck to. And I stuck to that until I put him in the grave. I didn't leave his side from that. It was only 8 months. Only 8 months. Right. And the only thing I regret is that I put him in the grave. I really should have cremated him, because he spent his whole life incarcerated in a box. Yeah. So when I thought about it after the fact, I said, I really should have cremated you. But I didn't want people to think. I really didn't want people to think. The reason why I did it is because I didn't want people to think that nobody loved him enough to give him a proper burial. Because he always was looked at like, you take stuff and you run, blah, blah, blah. You really ain't got no real support. Nah, he got somebody now. So I made sure that his funeral was laced, everything, and I paid for it myself. And I made sure that he had a resting place. But when I thought about it in hindsight, I said I should have cremated him, because he spent his whole life in a box.
Wow.
Well, listen, I just want to thank you all. I really do. Do you want to come up and just... Everyone, welcome. Yana?
Shawana.
Wana.
For
Everybody,
sure,
welcome Wana.
How you doing?
Listen, I'm sure you already know, right, that you have an amazing man.
Thank you.
You have something that people don't have. So, and I'm sure you know that. But I want to know, like, how was it for you? Because, like I said, women don't have that male support, know. How was that for you to know that you had somebody there with you, holding you down for real?
Well, in the beginning, you're not positive that person is going to be around. You know what I mean? Like, for me, I'm only speaking for myself and my experience. When we first got together, we was dealing with each other for a couple months. So it was kind of brand new. And then I bumped into it. I knew I was going to prison. So I wasn't really trying to get with him as much as I wanted to. Because I knew I was going away eventually. So when I did go away, I was talking to a couple guys. I was single. So I was, talking to a couple guys. And he just was like, it was something about him. It was like, this guy, I feel like he's gonna be around. Like, it's something about him, but I wasn't sure. And I didn't want to put all my eggs in one basket. Like, I know I got to do a 2-year bid. I need that support. I need someone to, help me get through this, because as a female being incarcerated, mentally, it's like it can destroy you if you're not strong, and especially if you don't have that support system on the outside. Having family is really good, to have your family, but when you have your loved one by your side and, that person that know you from inside and out, like that's a different feeling, so when I knew that he was really going to hold me down, I'm like, I felt like this is the best because, people didn't have that. Like the females in prison did not have that. The visiting floor was empty. And then the men, we looked at them, like we can see the outside. We can see like the men's visiting floor and it was just like packed. We had a couple people there, and everybody knew my man was coming every weekend. They knew he was going to be there. And,
I used to be walking up the hill. They'll be running back to the dome and go, he's here. And I'll be sitting there waiting for her, like, you know what I mean? But
it got to the point where I felt like, am I taking over his life? Like, I feel like you need some time for yourself. Like, don't come this week. Instead of you coming 4 times out of the month, come 2 times. So sometimes I felt like, damn, like, am I overdoing it? So then I started to tell him, like, babe, just come every other week. At first he was like, no, I'm not coming every other week. I'm going to be there every week. I'm like, no, listen, I want to work out. You take it away. I just try to make every excuse, you know what I mean? Right. Because I did not want him to get overwhelmed with my situation because I knew I had 2 years. And anything can happen. Like tomorrow, things could change, And I'm like, damn, he a good-looking guy. The girls is looking at him like, listen, anything could change. You know what I mean? So it was definitely a struggle, but we're here now and we got a beautiful baby, which I never imagined that I would have a baby as soon as I came home. Yeah. But he had plans from the gate. He had plans. Look at this. He knew exactly what he was doing. He planned the whole thing out. But I mean, that's what the man's supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
Right.
They're supposed to plan everything out.
A man, when they first meet a female, they already know what they want to do with them.
Right, exactly.
They know.
Right.
But like us being, like we was together like literally 2 months, 3 months before I went to prison, and I'm like, he's not going to hold me down. But when I checked my account, he was the first one to put money on my account before I even spoken to him. Like I was never going to call him because we was never that we wasn't
like secretive. Like she's like,
yeah, I mean, we weren't dealing with each other like that to the point where
you don't really need to know. You know what I mean? So I got a phone
Exactly.
call from one of her homegirls like, oh, did you speak to Shawana? I'm like, yeah, I spoke to her last night or whatever. And then she like, yo, you sure or whatever? I'm like, yeah. She like, well, I just got an email alert saying that she's locked up. I'm like, what? Locked up? Like, how? What happened? People think that, that picture that was posted went viral. So people in the comments was like, oh, she probably went to jail for something that I made her do, or she went to jail for me.
Because
that's like, you know what I mean? How can I say it? That's like the usual. You know what I mean? A girl going to jail for something that the guy made her do, but that in this case, that's not the scenario, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So when her homegirl gave me her information, I looked it up and I saw she was locked up. I'm like, oh, hell no. Drove right to the Western Union, threw that money in there real quick, get her phone call.
And I'm like,
trying to see
how
what's up.
the hell? Oh, can we curse?
Yeah, you
I'm
can.
like, how the hell do he know I'm locked up? Like, I did not tell this boy I was locked up. I looked at my account and I seen money from him. I seen his last name. I'm like, wait, what? Like, I cannot believe that he put money in my account. It was just, I was like, wow, I can't believe that. Like, because we was just dealing with each other for a little while. And then the first time we spoke, he reassured me, like, listen, whatever it is that you're going through, I'm there with you. I'm listening to him. It's going in one ear and coming out the other. Because I'm like, he can say this now, but he don't know I'm probably going to do a couple years, So he doesn't know that. So I don't really know if he's going to be there for me, but he was. And now what I could say too is any guys that was in my life, he shut them down. He made them, he got them out.
Yeah.
They had to go.
That's exactly what
Gotta go,
you're supposed to
bro.
do.
He had to
This
go.
about to be my wife. I ain't about to play with this one.
Yeah,
You know what
shut
I
it
mean?
down.
I'm calling home and he's at my house. I'm like, how the hell did he get there? He's with my mom. He's with my family. I'm like, he's the one. I don't know.
But that's what it boils down to. When a man has plans for you,
Right.
it's obvious. I got friends right now that been getting married for 10 years. They ain't got their ring. Look, I done been married, divorced, and I'm back out fishing, and you still waiting to get to the altar. Boo, it's not happening. When a man has plans for you, and I know it make it hard, especially like with my girl, like, listen, every time you turn around, nigga, I started taking offense. I was like, the brother done stopped you from making me porgies. Because we would eat, we did our little fish thing together. And I'm like, listen, you taking up my time. But when a man has plans for you, you understand what I'm saying? And y'all are young. I'm looking at y'all like, these sisters is bad. Little young girl make me want to go back a couple of years.
No, he really, really had plans.
Right, and that's what it is. And the bottom line is that, listen, look, you only get whatever what your aura demands. You understand what I'm saying? If you see yourself as a girlfriend, you're gonna always be a girlfriend.
Exactly.
You see yourself as a wife, you will be a wife.
That's what TD Jake said.
Oh, he said that? Well, let me find out. I'm preaching on
Yeah, he said that.
Like, from day one, I felt like he knew what it was that he wanted to do with me.
Right.
From day one, like, our conversation was just, I think what it is too, like, our conversation and things that we spoke about, he was like, yo, you different, like, I'm very business minded, so I always encourage him to do certain things, and he probably wasn't getting that from other females that he was dealing with,
Yeah,
and
that was one
it
thing
was a
she
lot of
was,
females
though.
that probably was like, yes, girls, to do whatever he wanted them to do because he had money.
Right.
I'm not, listen, no, I'm not that type of girl, and it was definitely a struggle being incarcerated, but he definitely helped me.
That's
he helped me get through those days, and the days that I felt like was long, he made them definitely seem short. Like,
Right. Right. That is it's so amazing. When my husband told me about you, I was like, oh my God, that I have to, because I know that that's not the norm, you know? So I'm really, really grateful for you guys for coming up here, telling your story, really educating people and really sharing your experiences. I know it's sometimes, like I said, people don't want to talk about it. It's like, I don't want to talk about it. It happened or it's happening and I'm, but you guys are able to come out and just really tell your story. So I really, really appreciate you guys.
and I want to congratulate her for being pregnant.
Thank
it's
you.
such a blessing.
Thank you.
It's such a blessing.
Just,
And you're staying strong. With him being incarcerated, you still look strong and you staying sane. So that's really good.
Thank you
Stay
so
healthy
much.
for the baby, so don't stress.
Yes. Thank
and
you
to all
so
the
much.
people that's out there, I just want to say this, man. If you got somebody that's incarcerated,
Hold them down.
Yeah.
It may seem like it's over, but it's never over. They got a date to be free. You feel me? And you could, trust me, you could help them get through them days. The visits, a letter, that one phone call could change their whole mood,
That's
put them in a
very
good space.
important. Every
That's
day I
very
look
important.
forward to a letter, an email, anything, that can
Pictures.
show
Don't
that
have a date,
support like that I
there's
have
always
on the
God.
outside. A letter means everything in prison when you're incarcerated. You need that mail call. If you don't get any mail, you ain't nobody.
Right.
Like, you don't have nobody to support you on the outside, so they treat you any type of way.
I told you.
Me, I got love in there. They knew I had a lot of support from my family on the outside, and then he came to visit me every week.
Right.
So it was like they knew.
Peaceful. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Wasn't even untold.
Yeah.
They
so
know
we
my
can do
commissary is
anything.
stacked. They know,
Yeah.
she's somebody. Her man come here every weekend. So
we come for her.
it's
We
really
gonna
a
have
blessing
to
to have
open
people
up
to
their
support
doors
you
by
because it
us.
helps you mentally when you in the inside. Because the system is designed to destroy you.
It is.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And if you're not strong enough, it will really fuck you up
It will.
mentally.
Yeah.
Seriously.
You got to encourage each other, encourage each other, you know what I mean, to make that visit or make that trip. You know what I mean? Don't discourage that person.
And it's
that
not
you see
easy.
struggling.
It's
Give
really
them a
not
shoulder-
easy.
It's not easy. Give
to
them
be
a
on the
shoulder to lean
outside,
on.
and support somebody that's incarcerated. It's hard because you're dealing with your own personal life and your own situation. Like, you're pregnant and you got to go visit him, and then him telling you the problems that he's going through, and then you don't know if tomorrow he gonna get into something, God forbid, and something happens, you know.
Yeah.
So anything could possibly happen in prison. So it's definitely a struggle and it's hard. But
It is.
Yeah, you know, she got a book that's coming out called Swipe. You know, y'all could pick it up.
Right.
You know, it's about to be released. You know,
what's
it's
up.
about her being incarcerated before, and
yeah, it's about my life experience and you know
Yeah.
what I've done. It's not about me. It's like maybe 60% about me. You know, it's entertaining as well, and it's a dope book. It's about credit card fraud and you know growing up in Brooklyn and the fast life and you know getting into a situation, you know having to go to prison, and so it's a really good book. So it's coming out in the second week of March. I don't have the exact date, but y'all could definitely catch it. My Instagram name is Wanna Got Class, and I'll be posting about it.
Yes, I was just about to say, let everybody know.
Yeah.
So,
Wanna Got Class is my Instagram.
yes.
McKinney 101 is one Instagram, and then we have the Free Marsden campaign, which is another one, and then McKinney _ Facing the Truth.
Only Fly with 5 Ys is my Instagram. You could catch me on there.
I got Instagram, but I don't know what it is. But if you want some stand-up comedian, if you need him doing parties, I do stand-up comedy, and you can hit her and she'll tell you. Oh no, it's Tanya Bright 66. That's my Instagram. Okay. Yeah, it is. I just thought about it, but yeah. So I didn't write a book yet, but yes, I definitely do the parties, entertainments, the stand-up comedy, and all that good stuff. Cause we've been laughing since we've been here. They'll tell you that. Yes.
But yes, thank you again so much. What They Don't Tell You podcast on Instagram and also on Facebook for past episodes. We're on all podcasting platforms, everywhere that you can listen to a podcast. We're there, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all that other good stuff. You can also click the link in my bio, and it'll lead you right to the latest episode. Make sure that you tell a friend to tell a friend. And thank you guys.
All right, thanks.